Hi everybody! So I'm going to do another channeled video with Nikola Tesla, and we are actually going to explore the question of how do we build or create free energy devices for our homes. In that original video, I had talked a little bit about what the death ray had meant to me, and I honestly, I swear to God, I live under a rock, and a lot of people would think I was a dodo brain, but did not even know about Tesla motors until like 6 months ago. I didn't even know who Nikola Tesla was. I literally look at flowers and I look at trees and I experience love and harmonies and frequencies in an infinite universe. So I don't really have like an incredible historical background knowledge about anything. However, I really do feel that I am awesome at what I do and that I could ask this question to Nikola Tesla and explore what his answer is to the question. So, just to give you a little bit of feedback, how does channeling actually work? Is Nikola Tesla going to put a dialogue in my brain? Go do this, build these, use these tools, use these materials, da 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 da. When I channel a higher consciousness, I actually experience what is emotional responses. Images and pictures that create an emotional reaction on a certain frequency level. We're talking about frequencies. So what I do for a living is I work with frequencies. Emotions are frequencies. The psychology of a human mind is a frequency. The ego is a frequency. So that is my forte, working with emotionally related, thought-based related, soul-based related frequency waves. So Nikola Tesla also works with frequencies, right? And it was cool because some of the comments helped me to see that the death ray was really not per se supposed to be an evil thing, but something that could really help the world. And it was neat because I read Wikipedia about Nikola Tesla, so I could have a little bit of background. But you know, it's a dry format, and I knew that this man has a lot more extraordinary stuff going on than I'm really digesting here. So, all right, I'm just gonna stop talking now because I really want to do this today. So I'm just going to connect with him and talk to him about free energy devices. And we'll see how he shares the message with me. I'll be curious to see how he communicates with me on a topic that's going to go way over my head, but I don't know that it per se will. I probably just explain it on a level that is maybe simpler. Okay. Just a moment here. I'm not fully connected with him. Okay, he shows me two things. The first thing, I see a man and there's huge reels, like reams of paper, and he's going through like rolls, like scrolls, but massive. Like we're talking like super massive, and he's trying to find what he's looking for in his notes here. That's one version of a scene that I see. The other version of the scene is to forget about the notes, forget about what has ever been written down or what has ever been told to you, to forget about the design, to forget about. It's sort of like you ever write something down and you want to remember this, like you really want to not forget this. And if you forgot it, it'd probably be lost forever, right? Well, he's talking about let that go. Let go of anything that you write down because if it is lost, you weren't meant to have it in the first place. So let anything go that you feel like you have to remember this. Like he says no. He's saying no to that. He's saying connect with what is inside yourself. You have all these reels and notes, all the equations, all of the everything you need to know is all right inside of here in your heart. I see in this other scene, just him sitting here, a very composed man. He's not per se smiling at me, although I feel like he is on the inside, but he's almost like a statue, like holding a pose, just sitting here looking at me. I tell him I'm bored of this. I'm gonna take him on a walk. I really like this pathway, I say. There is trees growing on either side. The trees are actually, they're still sharing with us their winter scene, their winter coats. There's no leaves on these trees. They're barren. I tell him I like it out here. He smiles at me and he points at a tree and he says it's a free energy device. He says, do you know what trees are capable of? They're self-sustaining. Trees purify the air. All you have to do is grow one. He's talking about positive frequencies versus negative frequencies. Trees are not out to get you. Trees are actually here to harmonize our world, not destroy our world. He says, do you trust trees? Are trees trustworthy? He nods. He says, I like trees. And you don't have to be a brainiac or a rocket scientist to put a seed in the ground and allow Mother Earth to do the work. Free energy device, he says. He points at the sun. He says this too is a free energy device, but how do we use it for energy purposes? He shows me water moving, free energy device. But how do we use it for energy purposes in the world that we are developing today? He shows me it is the natural world that manifests the ideas that create free energy devices because they're already there. You don't have to build a sun. You don't have to figure out the dynamics of a tree. It already is exactly as it is meant to be. Now we work with what we already have. He shows me that the soil is a powerful space. He shows me that there's a rumbling and a shake that is going, and the earth is a very powerful instrument. He shows me how powerful the earth is, that it could crack, that it could explode volcanic eruptions, that it experiences extraordinary gravitational movements or movements in the universe. It is moving and we don't even notice that it is moving. The earth is a powerful generator of energy, and we're not using it, are we? We aren't using trees and earth and sun and water on a level where we could actually totally free our world to become one with nature again. He says, do you see how science has wanted to hold on to science? And it's afraid of the freedom to revert back to what is the caveman days and start working with free energy again. Fire! Free energy. How hard is this? He says scientists have egos, and egos are selfish. And egos want advancement that is not free. Advancement that is only gifted to those worthy of it, to those who are praising the scientist in return and giving the scientist a boost or an elevation, and it's all about ego. He says, do trees have ego? Does water have ego? Does the sun have ego? But do you have ego? Let's say you created a free energy device, and it was so easy and it was so simple and it would change the world. What would you do with it? He shows me a lot of people are extremely afraid to bring free, life-changing inventions out into this world, but the question is why? He says, what's the difference between a tree and a human being? The tree is all about freedom. The human being is afraid to be free. The human being works with ego. The human being wants to feel special. The human being wants to be valued. The human being wants to be above all the rest. The human being wants to be the best. He shows me that the world is cracking in two pieces. And one piece, there are human beings who are ready for freedom, and freedom of self-expression, freedom of invention, freedom of sharing free energy devices. And the other side is afraid, is controlling, is selfish, is ego twisted. He says, what is your choice? He says, it doesn't matter what your choice is. Go try out some free energy devices and see what happens. It's your life and your choice how you want to live your life, how you want to share your life. It's your life. It's your gift. It's your experience. He shows me extraordinary minds that nobody knows about. Extraordinary minds. People who are studying the way trees grow and exploring ways that we could build cities in forests and live extraordinary lives in the trees. But who would ever adopt such a preposterous idea? Living in trees like animals. That's preposterous. He shows me a man whose nose, if he looks at you straight in the eye, his nose is actually tilted upwards, so he doesn't even have to tilt his head. That's how preposterous that is. He says there's a lot of people who don't like the idea of living in trees. He said that's their choice. Who cares? I want to live in a tree. I want to live underground. I want to live underwater. I want to live in the air. I want to live in places that people could only dream of living in. Because that is the world, that is my vision, that is my experience, and that is my fantasy. That is the magic of my spirit, of my soul. To live beyond the imagination. There are a lot of people that are afraid to live beyond their imagination because imagination is not measurable by science. Imagination is a preposterous tool. Free energy devices, I suppose, are preposterous too. Trees have no ego. Human beings have ego. Which one do you choose? Sustainability. Trees are sustainable. What about human beings? How do we learn how to work in balance with the trees, with the planet, with the sun, with the oceans? He says you don't need to take notes on this one. He simply needs to step outside and start dreaming, start daydreaming, imagining. Smile as you do it. Shows me something complicated. It looks like the planet Earth, and there's something like a spindle going through the planet Earth, and the planet Earth actually has it's mechanical. The Earth is actually like one giant turbine kind of thing. I don't know, it's a spinning tool. And the spindle goes all the way through the planet, all the way through. So we're just simply looking at this image. And so the planet is spinning, and there's some sort of, well, it's metal. But there's the experience of electricity going up and down, and the electricity is actually talking to each other. or it's talking to itself. It's talking to the polar. There's electricity that's coming from this side, and there's electricity coming from this side, and they seem to have different feelings about them because one's from the north and one's from the south, and they're slightly different on the way that they communicate. And we're probably talking about magnets or something like that, but they communicate slightly differently. And then when they reach each other, they have an interaction, and then they have ideas, and they start to grow and grow and grow, and they become more and more powerful. And they want to grow and expand, and they want to be bigger than this. He calls this combustion. He calls this explosion. He shows me how you could, how do you get a gun to work? You have to have an explosion. You have to have energy. Energy that wants to go pow! And how do you get that energy, that pow energy, like an atomic bomb, but instead of it being used to blow things up, you actually use it, the power of it, to simply light houses across an entire city really easily. Because there's so much force and so much energy and so much earthquakey energy that it just wants to go forever without stopping. So loud and so powerful. But if we can harness that and we can just use it in small, tiny little increments, you could light millions of houses for thousands of years. Easy. He shows me that stars too are generating light all the time. Even when the sun is shining, stars too are generating light. But light is coming from combustible energy. The whole universe is full of light and combustion. The earth too is full of light and combustion. And it's not even a star. He says the universe is turning just like a turbine, just like the planets. The universe is also turning, and it's combustible energy. It's energy that's constantly wanting to explode through the gift of creation, because creation is exciting. It's full of just wanting to share 1,000 different times in 1,000 different ways and blow up in so many different colors and shapes and sizes and ways of thinking and being and expressing. But we can harness those frequencies, and they're everywhere. They're in the air we breathe. They're in the droplets of water themselves. They're in the leaves of the trees. They're in our bodies. We're a part of this combustion of creation. We are it as well, and we can work with it. No problem. We can do this. It is nothing to see our world have houses levitating in the sky. We'll never have to worry about an earthquake destroying everything or a tsunami. Plenty of fresh air. Oh, we'll be one with the birds. Shows me it is nothing for people to travel wherever they want to go, simply by allowing their heart to decide, I want to have a baguette in France, in Paris today. Bam, you're there. I want to enjoy a romantic meal, a romantic dinner in Italy this evening. Bam, you're there. He says, what would our world be like if we could live freely? Is it a good idea for human beings to have that kind of freedom, to go wherever they please, to fall in love in whatever world, in whatever country, whatever place they want to experience? That makes their heart grow, it makes their heart glow. It creates companionship and connection, friendship, diversity. That's a bad thing, isn't it? We don't want ideas like this to leak out, because once people have access to freedom, then freedom is in power. And it's very hard to get freedom out of power once freedom is in power. There are some people that call freedom chaos. Free human beings, that's preposterous. Free human beings become chaos. He says we have to start believing in each other. We have to start believing in the power of love. And we have to start seeing each other as good people. People who can take care of each other. When we have access to freedom, we help each other with love. But maybe we're not ready for that yet. Maybe there's too many people who have been hurt by a world that has been squeezing us very tightly, inspiring us to forget about nature and all the free energy devices. People that have become lost in their own worlds, living in a ghetto, feeling the need for security, owning weapons of mass destruction in their closet, fearing a zombie attack in the near horizon. He tells me that it's not just up to the inventors to change the world, because the people too have to start waking up to the reality they actually believe in. And he says that humanity, there's a lot of hearts that feel hurt by this world, that have become psychologically disturbed by this world. But we can't let that stop us from wanting freedom and wanting to help everybody. And wanting to help everybody find a way past all of this so generations upon generations can grow in the harmony of love. And we have got to keep choosing to love each other, support each other, while the inventors find a way to get these free devices out to society, because they're already there. It's just the ideas are not being implemented. But why? He doesn't want you to worry about this planet, what is going to happen to this planet, what is going to happen to the human race. He doesn't want you to worry about any of that. He wants you to focus on yourself and what you can do to find the happiness within your heart, and to be a reflection of the sunlight and the combustible energy that you are maintaining a harmony or a balance within yourself. He says you are powerful. You are as powerful as this universe. And so was I, and so I am even now. That's what he has to say. Super cool. He's very wise. His consciousness is very wise. After I made the first channeled video with him, I was kind of nervous about it, and I don't know if I was nervous because I was shy about the reality that I should know about this extraordinary man, and I just don't, and I'm kind of embarrassed by that. And I couldn't stop thinking about him every day after I did that first channeling, and I knew I wanted to channel him again. And I actually created that video like a week before I actually shared it. And then after sharing it, there was so many beautiful comments, and this sort of motivation to connect with him again was really easy, because I really enjoyed the first channel experience, but I enjoyed getting to know his soul more deeply after the channeling than during it. And now that I'm connecting with him yet again, I feel like he's an ingenious spiritual man, like a man who was really connected with the way creative energy, the harmony of creative energy, the balance of creative energy, and using it, and you see it in its most simplistic form. It just seems like any old tree, but to him it wouldn't be. To him, the tree itself has power. And so how do I work with what the tree already is in order to change the world? And those were the basics, the recipe of the tools that he was working with to manifest extraordinary ideas that were just far too preposterous for people, mainly because of the word freedom. because it gives people the ability to actually connect with each other in a way that's free. And that's scary for people in high places, for people who are not ready to let go of ego or greed or status or whatever it is that gives them the edge. And perhaps they're afraid. And we need to be the ones not afraid. We need to be the ones that are choosing to be ourselves and choosing to speak freely and openly and to say, this is what I want to see in this world, not just in America. I don't feel that I just am in America. I feel like I'm a part of the earth. I feel like I'm a part of everybody on this planet, where we're all family. We're not, I don't like the feeling of disconnection, and I don't feel like we are ascending to be disconnected. We are ascending to be more connected, more supported, more helpful. We're ascending into a higher awareness where we can start seeing the value of trees in a way that we have gotten disconnected from. This man would easily take something very simple and be able to pull out all the simplicity of it, but see the power within it at the same time and work with that to create unimaginable things. So if you want to be the next Nikola Tesla, get connected with your imagination. Start looking at what is already out there. Mother Nature has got it figured out. We're just trying to figure out her secrets. If we don't try to figure out her secrets and we just allow her to speak to us by just allowing her to do what she does in balance, and then we see how that works and how we might be able to work with that through invention, through understanding frequencies of creation itself. Now this is the building blocks to something extraordinary, very extraordinary. So that's all I can share for this channeled message. Thank you all for your inspiration and for your positive support. It really touches my heart. If you enjoy this message, please give it a like. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more messages like this on the horizon. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one through a psychic session, I would love to make a difference in your life. Please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you all, and I wish you all a wonderful day.